Alright, hey guys, my name's Taylor Bitson. Today I'll be talking to you guys about how I feel, in my own opinion, about smoking. And in my personal opinion, and I don't want anybody to feel hurt about this or take it the wrong way, but I am against smoking. I'm a no smoking person. In my family, there's been many people, especially on my dad's side of the family, who were just consistent smokers. And honestly, I just can't find myself to get into it. Now, there are some people who will say, well, sometimes smoking helps with, like, say, depression, or you just need something to pick you up, or it just makes you feel good. Personally, I don't know. I've never smoked once in my life, but here I'm willing to say my opinions and my thoughts on it. And yes, I do say I'm against it, but because I have my own personal reasons. One, I have asthma, and as somebody with asthma, my lungs cannot take smoking, and I hate smoke. To be honest, I hate fireplace smoke. I hate fireworks. The 4th of July for me is just not even one of those things that I even like to celebrate because I just hate smoke. Now, with smoking, there are some people who need it for medication, and I can understand that, and I have nothing against that. But there are also things where people just abuse it. And to me, abusing smoking just is the same as committing suicide, in my point. Now, let me explain to you why I say that. Now, like I go back to you when I say my family. Let's say, for instance, my aunt. She was a sweet lady. I had multiple aunts, but this one in particular. She was a heavy smoker. And yes, we all loved her. But because she smoked so much, she basically threw her own life away. Now, smoking is what I consider just throwing your life away because in the long run it doesn't help you at all. There's no real positive things. It messes with your whole body and nothing in a positive way. It can mess up your lungs, it can give you cancer, it can give you depression, etc. It just causes so many bad negative things with your body to where you would just think, hey, why would I do this? And honestly, I understand. Some people need something to do to get their minds off how life can be. And I mean, life is not the easiest thing, but I understand that. But I think there are a lot more simple and better alternatives than smoking. Because smoking is not the thing that you would really want to do because it just messes up your whole life. Like I say, it can mess with your brain, your heart, your lungs, give you diseases, and any other kind of thing. I can really get into it, but that would waste my 5 minutes, wouldn't it? So I'm just keep it simple. I'm gonna tell you about the story about my aunt. She was such a sweet lady. I loved her, and I hate when she passed. Now, I just gave away the ending, but basically, here's the story. She lived by herself with a dog, and she consecutively smoked every day. Every time we would see her, every time we would go to her house, it smelled like nothing but smoke. And honestly, we expected it. We would come out of her house smelling like smoke, and our cars would smell like smoke. And when she gets in our cars, they would smell like smoke after it, even after she got out. Now, just knowing that, we knew that her addiction was bad. But since I've never done like any kind of drugs or anything, I don't know how to feel or what addiction people feel. So I'm not going to speak too much on that. Besides the fact that I just feel if you have the willpower to do something, you can do what you want to do. But back to my aunt. Well, after a few years, she didn't stop with smoking, and she did drink, but that's another video. So after the smoking, she just decided, she would have heart attacks, have all kind of body problems, and just everything was just messed up for her. She would stay in the hospital in intensive care for a lot of days, and besides it messing up her life, it really threw all of our lives out of shape too, because it would throw our schedules off. We would have to just do everything possible just to make her better and get her out of the hospital just so she could go back another, a week later. And I don't mean to sound rude, negative, or mean, but that's what smoking does to you. It doesn't just affect you, the person smoking. It affects the people around you too, family and friends. Because those people have to worry about you, take care of you, and do for you, even when you are down in the hospital. And yes, it's not the best place to be, but at some point I think that if you know that you're going down the wrong path and that you end up in the hospital every day for every week for the rest of your life, that should be a real shock to you to realize, you know what, I don't want to keep doing this. But that goes back to addiction, and addiction is one thing that I can't talk about because I don't know how it feels. But I do know that with all the negative aspects of smoking, that it's just not a positive thing. Thousands of people die a year because of smoking, and not because of medication purposes, because of abuse. People abuse their own bodies, and about 480,000 people die a year. That's a lot of people a day just because they don't realize, or they do realize, but they just don't care that smoking can really mess up their lives. Yeah. But other than that, I honestly just feel if people could just realize that there's a better alternative than smoking, or just anything, drugs, alcohol, that there's always a better solution and a way to solve your problems. Because nobody deserves to die like that. Nobody wants to go down like that. That's a very, very terrible way to go. In the hospital, in intensive care, plugged to a bunch of machines that your family will have to remember for the rest of their lives. And I'm sure no one wants to see that or go through that. So I'm going to just wrap this up right here and say, oh, you can't move now. Say that you just say no to smoking. Unless you really need it for medication purposes, then I just feel that you shouldn't abuse yourself like that. Because you're basically killing yourself. As you can see, my dog agrees with me. Thank you.